Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to speak about mothering. Mothering your husband is not a sexy term, and I want to tell you why. Okay, first of all, let's just get some education on what gender and what sex is. Gender refers to a spectrum. It's masculine, neutral in gender, or feminine. And all of us are moving up and down this spectrum all day long. Sex identity is male or female. And that's about it. I mean, we're not actually often asked, what's your sex identity? We're asked what our gender is. But actually, just for the record, gender refers to masculine and feminine, and it's on a spectrum. Okay, now that we've cleared the air about that, you'll see why this topic is really important because it's just not sexy to be mothering your husband, right? When it comes to a man and a wife being together, you want to think about masculine and feminine sort of complementing each other in the relationship. And a woman should be more on her feminine side inside of that relationship, inside of that intimate relationship, than she should be on her masculine side. There's a time when a woman does do well in her masculine identity at that time, in her masculine gender, I should say, and that's at work. That's when you need to get stuff done. You're checking off the boxes, you're leading your team, you're conducting a meeting, you're giving a presentation, you're scheduling your boss's agenda, you're making phone calls. Like, it's basically all about productivity and efficiency and getting things done. Oh, problem solving, putting out fires, building teams. Like, it's doing, building, problem solving, production, and is something that we need to do at work if we're going to continue to get paid, right? But then it's challenging. I mean, as women, we want to be out in the workforce. We want to be earning money and in a way that's equal to men, which means we need to become more masculine at work. I mean, obviously, you could say myself as a therapist, I'm not masculine when I'm going into work. I'm all about empathy and active listening and nurturing and caring for. Or a nurse, you might say, is not very much in her masculine role at work if she's a woman, a female nurse. But then again, she is, because when she walks into that room, she's got to make sure all the lights are flickering the colors that they should be flickering and there's not alarms going off. I mean, there's a time and a place for going up and down that gender spectrum. And I think the term mothering comes into play because there's times where as a mother, you need to be doing, checking off the boxes, et cetera, when it comes to running your home. You got to get those kids out the door in the morning. You know, you got to be organized. You got to have a plan in place. You do need to be scheduling. You need to be booking those kids in for their activities, speaking to the teacher, attending meetings. Those are all very much masculine. But when it comes to working with your husband and not with your children, you shouldn't be mothering your husband. Women will come to me and say, that's not an option for me. If I don't light a fire underneath his, and constantly be on him for this, that, or whatever. So maybe he is a CEO and running a business and needs to be in 100 places at one time. And maybe he does rely on you for reminding him of this and that or whatever as he goes out the door. Of course, there's a time and a place for that, but I'm not speaking about those instances. I'm speaking about where he wants to be mothered. And quite often it's not the amount that women give to their husband. I know I'm 100% guilty of this. Like, I'll come into the kitchen when my husband's cooking and I'll be like, "Oh, did you remember to put this? Oh, that's gonna boil over, you better yeah." Why did you make it that way? The deck's going to go up this summer, and just imagine me from February to June saying, "So, did you make the call to the contractor? Lumber is really expensive. Make sure you grab, I don't know, like whatever." I mean, or maybe going kind of behind his back and making some phone calls of my own, right? Without him asking for help. I mean, if that's his job, then allow it to be his job. And I know I'm going to have women saying, that's not my world, because if I'm not after him, it doesn't get done. My husband's a huge procrastinator. My husband is, uh, I don't know. But you have to, you have to see the picture from 30,000 feet from above. The more you mother your husband, the more he's going to feel lesser than. He's going to feel incapable, unworthy. He's not going to feel like a man because you're being the man and you're not allowing him to be a man. What you need to do instead is identify the problem, go to couples counseling, because we need to approach this very delicately, because a man wants to be a man. A man wants to be a provider. A man wants to be a problem solver. A man wants to run the household. I shouldn't say run the household. He wants to take care of the home. He wants to take care of the house. That's what makes him feel like a man. He wants to be a provider. Deep down in his heart, that's what I'm saying, in order for him to have a meaningful life and one that leads towards happiness. So we got to identify this problem, and mothering him is not going to solve the problem. We got to find, like, again, the root to him not expressing his masculinity as best as he could be. This could be due to a number of reasons, right? It could be substance abuse. It could be losing a job. It could be losing his faith, it could be too much porn. Like, I mean, it's just like there's so many ways that it could go wrong, and you need to get some professional help for that, because you mothering is just going to come off as nagging, and that's definitely something that doesn't make us feel good. I hope this brings some light into the picture when it comes to mothering, but like, yeah, it's sort of taking over all the, like, the functionality of the home and all everything that needs to get done. You might think it has to be done on my schedule. It's becoming a manager of the home, right? It's becoming a micromanager of his life. And I mean, everything from picking up his socks and underwear off the floor. I mean, that's not a feminine thing to do. It's sort of like he's a grown man. I mean, again, I don't know your relationship, but I think he should find worth in taking care of his own whatever, like clothes, his own health, his own personal items. I think there's a lot of worth into that, like self-worth that you might feel by doing those things for yourself. Again, if it's an act of kindness, an act of love. I spoke about that in the last episode that I did on the art of compromise. I mean, I'm not talking about kind acts. Kind acts happen kind of here and there and everywhere. I'm talking about you picking up the guy's socks off the floor every single day and cursing underneath your breath. That's not acts of kindness. You have to see the difference in that. Okay? I hope it helps. And just look at your relationship and see how much mothering you might be doing and how this is emasculating for your partner and your husband. Okay? Thanks for watching. Please comment if you have any questions or if you just enjoyed. Thank you.